सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावदितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। वक्तुं सुबोध वेदान्तं प्रवृतो ह्यबुधोऽप्यहम् कृपया यस्य तं वन्दे श्रीगणेशं पुनः पुनः। वन्दे सरस्वतीं देवीं सद्गुरुं मे महामतिं सीता समेत श्रीरामं यच्छन्तु शुभदां मतिम्। किं जगत् किं प्रयोजनं किं जगत् किं प्रयोजनं शिष्यः पृच्छति सद्गुरुं शिष्यः पृच्छति सद्गुरुं इदं रूपेण यज्ञातं इदं रूपेण यज्ञातं तच्च सर्वं जगद्भवेत् तच्च सर्वं जगद्भवेत्। What is the world and what is its purpose? So asks the disciple to the Guru. All that which is known as this, known objectively, is the world. Karma kartum phalam bhoktum कर्म कर्तुं फलं भोक्तुं क्षेत्रभूतं हि प्राणिनां क्षेत्रभूतं हि प्राणिनां ईशे समर्प्य कर्माणि ईशे समर्प्य कर्माणि चित्तशुद्धिं लभेन्नरः चित्तशुद्धिं लभेन्नरः। The world is a field of experience for all beings to perform actions and experience the results. By dedicating these actions unto the Lord, one gains purity of mind. Brahmarupam jagat pashyan Brahmarupam jagat pashyan Mukto vidvan bhaven Mukto vidvan bhaven Jivartam syat prayojanam Jivartam syat prayojanam Ishartam natu karhichit Ishartam natu karhichit. Seeing the world as the truth, Brahman, the wise man becomes liberated. Thus the world has a purpose for the individual and not for the Lord.
Ajay, we have to say who we want to present today, right? Actually, Akash, you want to present your points from your class today? Akash can present.
Oh, sorry. I just shared our notes here.
Yep.
So what is considered as the world? We said anything I experience, which is the OET. Also nature, so the 5 elements of Panchabhuta. And also the idea that the world is energy, so that energy or matter. Then what is the purpose of the world? We split into sort of 2. One is from our point of view, the purpose of the world is as karma bhumi to discharge our duties, to experience. And then also from God's point of view, the purpose of the world is sort of his Maya. He created it just because he could. and then his purpose in it is to maintain dharma.
What does POV stand for? Purpose of?
Point of view.
Point of view. Okay.
Yeah, so it's from our point of view and then God's point of view.
Okay, got it.
And then why does the scripture state the world is unreal? Because it's constantly changing, because it has beginning and end, and because the experience of the world is different for all.
Okay. Yep.
Then how should we see the world? As a game or as a play? As a place to discharge duties and exhaust vasanas, with faith and surrender that what is happening or will happen is God's will, with the dedication of results to action to God. See the world with non-attachments, without a sense of possessiveness, and recognize that things, beings, roles within the world as temporary.
Okay. Yep. Okay, good. Then I might ask Madhvi, are you there? Madhvi, you want to present your points from your discussion group?
Yes, Swamiji. Hari Om. Hari Om all. The first, I think most of the points were more or less the same, Swamiji.
Yep.
Everybody has, except in the second question, what is the purpose of the world? Our discussion group did come out with a thing saying that it helps us to answer the question or to ponder over who am I actually.
Okay.
It
nice.
gets us thinking. It gives us the opportunity to start questioning and thinking, because thinking of us as who we are.
Yeah.
And otherwise, everything else was more or less the same, Swamiji.
Okay. Okay. Good. Other leaders, anything different came up at all? Or it's all the same if it's all the same? Anything?
I have one from Ajay here.
Yeah.
Purpose of the world, everything else more or less the same. Purpose of the life was like those who are not after moksha, for them to sustain that life, like for the food and shelter and everything else, to
Okay,
sustain
yeah.
that life. The purpose of the world is that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, so we look at I'll return back to the shlokas. Kim jagat kim prayojanam. What is the world? What is the purpose of the world? Yeah. Now here definition is given. Idam rupena yat jnatam. All that which is called idam. Idam in Sanskrit means this. This. T-H-I-S. This. Anything you can label as this is called the world. Yeah. Now it's interesting. I think in the first presentation, Akash, you had mentioned they put the elements, they put object, emotions, and thoughts. I think you had covered, all things. But anything you can label as this. Now, generally, when we think, we generally tend to think that the world is something outside. Yeah. And so a lot of times in our understanding of the world, we tend to say the world is happening outside. We exclude ourselves from the world. We forget that we are also part of that world. Yeah? And when I say we are part of that world, that means 1, your body and its perceptions. 2, your mind, its emotions. 3, intellect and thoughts, and also 4, vasanas. Vasanas. In fact, everything apart from Om in the chart, self, everything apart from Paramatma or Atma is part of the world. It is part of the world. Yeah. This is sometimes something that we have to become a little bit more aware of, because our habit is to say world is outside, and we delineate it from me and the world. And we generally use the body as the barrier. So we say body, then whatever's within it, mind, intellect, vasana, that is me. And then anything outside this body, mind, intellect, we then say is the world. And here Shastra says, no, you have to take the body, you have to take the mind, and you have to take the intellect also as the world. Yeah. All aspects must be taken. There is a subtle purpose behind this, And a subtler purpose behind this is as you grow spiritually and as you start shifting your identification from body, mind, intellect, vasana, and towards Atma, it becomes easier to accept the nature of the body, mind, intellect. Yeah, it's easier to accept. All of us know as we go through life, and the more exposure we have to this world, we start recognizing the nature of things, isn't it? And as we recognize the nature of a thing, we learn to accept it. Yeah. Now, for a child, when they see springtime and they see all beautiful flowers are coming out, roses are blooming, everything is blossoming, they're like, it's such a beautiful time for them. Yeah. Then summer is going to come and autumn, and then everything will start falling. Yeah. And for the child, when he now starts seeing all the flowers have lost their color, they have all lost their petals, they are all withering, and now they're going to go to winter and die. The child can be a little bit traumatized by that experience because they're thinking, oh my God, all the beautiful flowers are now dead. Yeah. Because they don't understand that this season is going to cycle again. All this is going to repeat itself. Yeah. For the adult, they know they have gone through many cycles of these seasons. So they know as much as these plants wither and die, they're again going to rejuvenate and come back. Yeah. And so for the adult mind, it is easier to accept the coming and going, the blossoming and the withering of the plant. In the same way, our body, our mind, and our intellect goes through seasons. Our body also goes through seasons of health and ill health. And it happens when you're young, it happens again when you're a youth, it happens again when you're middle age, and it happens again when you're old age. Everyone goes through periods where we have bad health and then we recover in good health. Seasons. Yeah. We also have periods emotionally that are very turbulent. Yeah. Some vasana, some issue has now been brought forth. It's starting to manifest. Yeah. And you might have felt for 10 years, I've never had to deal with this, but now all of a sudden I'm feeling these strange emotions and I'm feeling very guilty about something that I did 10 years ago. Yeah. Or I'm feeling very anxious about something which is going to come. Yeah. Now you see COVID has been interesting. People were anxious at the start of COVID because lockdown, and we've never experienced it. Then people got used to lockdown. And now there's a new wave of anxiety, and that is the anxiety of now reopening. That people are now scared to actually reopen and connect with people. Some youth are sharing that with me, that they're having a bit of social anxiety about now having to reconnect with people. Now, first your anxiety was disconnecting, and now there's anxiety about reconnecting. Hey, anxiety is always going on. Now, the main thing is the anxiety about change is coming. It's not about disconnecting or reconnecting because there's anxiety over both. The main thing is there's anxiety over change. Yeah. And so you must understand, whenever there are major changes or transitions in life, you will go through a period of anxiety. This is normal. It's a season. It is just an unpleasant season. That's all it is. Because a big transition is taking place. There's anxiety. Prior to getting married, there's a bit of anxiety. Prior to having the first child, there's a bit of anxiety. Prior to children then moving out, there is anxiety. Yeah. There will always be anxiety because the anxiety is triggered by transition, sudden change. As you go through many of these things, you should gain experiential wisdom, not academic wisdom, experiential wisdom that now another transition is happening in life, and therefore my mind is a little bit, it's playing up. And you shouldn't be disturbed by this. The anxiety will come, but you don't get overwhelmed. You don't get overwhelmed by it. Yeah? You learn to be able to watch it because you know it's just another season. Just like winter is unpleasant, but it's just another season. It's going to end. Yeah? And after that, winter, spring is going to come. This anxiety because of this change is coming. Yeah? But then once we find our footing in the new situation, the new circumstance, then anxiety will go. It's all about finding our footing. Yeah? But every sudden change, every transition, anxiety comes. Don't get carried away with it. Yeah? As you go through life, more years accumulate of experience, you will start recognizing this is the nature of things. Yeah? All parents parenting their children, every new step for that child brings anxiety. Yeah? But now when you start observing grandchildren and you see grandchildren and their patterns of behavior, which are exactly the same as what your children went through, then the grandparent doesn't have any anxiety because they know this is how things work. It's purely because they have seen it so many times, they have observed the world somewhat objectively, and thus they have seen the nature of that world, coming, going, blossoming, withering. Yeah, it's all seasons. As we come to recognize this body, mind, and intellect is part of the world, it is easy to accept the good times and the bad times for this body, mind, intellect. It is easy to accept when it blossoms, flourishes with success, but also it will wither with failure. These are just changing seasons. These are not spelling out doom and despair. Yeah. And thus the inclusion of the body, mind, intellect, vasana as part of the world is very important. When we see body, mind, intellect, vasana as different to the world, we gain wisdom about the world, we don't gain wisdom about ourselves. We don't recognize that we, or this body, mind, intellect, vasana, is also part of a changing season. It is also part of an annual change, perennial changes, seasonal changes. Yeah. But when we start seeing it as part of the world, it is easier to stand apart and observe it. That's why this definition of the world, idam rupam, anything you can call this. That means you can also call your thought this thought. I've been having this thought, you know. I've been having this feeling. This feeling has been coming. If you can call it this, it is part of the world. Yeah? Or I have this habit, you know. I have this habit at night. I like to eat food just before going to sleep. This habit is, yeah. I have this habit. Yeah. So this habit, I mean, this vasana, this thought, intellectual thought, this feeling, emotion, this behavior, this action of the body, all of this, they are part of Jagat. This is a very unique analysis that Vedanta provides. Yeah, and you will find this in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. In the 13th chapter, they talk about a thing called Kshetram, the field, and Kshetrajnaha, the knower of the field. The field represents the world of matter. The knower of the field represents consciousness. And in that elaboration, I think verse 4 and 5, if you see in the elaboration of the field, the world, he says things like Icha dvesha sukam dukkam, desire, hatred, joy, sorrow, they are all part of the field. They are not part of you. They belong to the world. They do not belong to you. You are Kshetrajnaha. Kshetrajnam chapimam viddi. Sarvakshetreshu Bharata. Oh Bharata, know that I alone am the Kshetrajna in the hearts of all beings. That means Atma Paramatma is the knower, and it is different to the world. Atma Paramatma is the experiencer and is different to the experienced. Atma Paramatma is subject and everything else becomes object. Everything else. Thought, emotion, vasana, action. Everything. So it's a beautiful way, as we get rooted in this thinking, it's a beautiful way to disconnect, disassociate from our own vasana, body, mind, intellect. Yeah. And you learn to see them. They also go through cycles. Yeah. So idam rupam yajñātva yajñātam tatcha sarvam jagat bhave. Everything, all this is called the jagat. Yeah. Now, I think you've got that. Now, then the question is, what is the purpose of this jagat? Okay. Now the key word is pranina. Pranina means for creatures, for the creatures, which means now for the jiva. So now we have to talk from the standpoint of the person identified with body, mind, intellect. For the individual that is identified with body, mind, intellect, it's called prani. So it says, karma kartum palam bhoktum kshetra bhutam hi pranina. So for the jiva, different standpoint, what is the purpose of this karma bhumi or kshetram, this field? It is for me, the jiva, to do action, karma kartum, and then palam bhoktum, enjoy the result. Do action, enjoy the result. Yeah. Now we say enjoy, we should say experience the result. Okay. Let's say, why should he do action? The action, it's not that you should do action. It's that we are impelled to do action because we have vasanas. Because we already come with vasanas. They're already built within us. We don't enter this world as a blank slate. Hinduism does not accept this. We already enter this world loaded with vasanas. The reason we are born is because of vasanas. We are not born as a blank slate and we pick up vasanas. No, the little child, day one that is born, has got vasanas. The very birth of that child is because of that child's vasanas. That child is a jiva only, and that jiva is loaded with vasanas, and that's why this birth has taken place. For the person who has got no vasanas, there is no further birth. No further birth. So everyone who is born has got vasana. Yeah? Unless Bhagavan takes avatar, then no vasana. Only Bhagavan with no avatar, there's no vasana. Everyone else called prani, jiva, has got vasana. Even the seeker who gains enlightenment, becomes a great master, at birth had vasana. At birth had vasana. Maybe a few vasanas, not many, but was born because vasana was there. Yeah. So, now this changes the way you see a child. When you look at a little baby, a little baby has got vasanas in it. Which is good, because parents get so nervous about, oh, how will I parent it? I don't want to hurt and damage the child and give it a bad experience. It's already got its own vasana. Don't worry. It has already come with its own vasanas. You just provide a field for it to unfold. You cannot control that thing. if it's got some strong rajogun vasana, doesn't matter what you do, put it in a sattvic environment, it will still have rajogun vasana. In that sattvic environment, go fight with everyone. That's the nature of that jiva only, the vasana. So, we are all born with vasana. Now, because of this vasana, there is a massive pressure. There is massive pressure to do. And you cannot bottle that pressure up. It's very unhealthy. So because of vasana, there is now pressure to do karma. Vasana will express as desire, and desire will express as action. So from vasana, desire, action. So the vasana pressure being strong, the jiva wants to do. Now, in order to do, it needs instruments and it needs a field, location. Yeah? Simple thing. You want to cook. Everyone in lockdown has learned some baking, cooking, some master chef thing they have taken up. Yeah? So baking, cooking, master chef. Now you want to do it. So you're sitting now, weekday is finished, Friday is gone, now weekend. What should I do with my weekend? Oh, I want to cook a cake. Yeah? Now, when you want to cook a cake, there's a vasana is there. You're sitting on the couch. Vasana now has come forward. I want to make a cake. Vasana turned into desire. That's it. We're making a cake. Saturday afternoon, we're making it. Okay. Now, in order to make that cake, what do you need? You are going to need a field. Yeah, that field is called your kitchen. So you need a field, kitchen bench, kitchen table. Then you need instruments, your baking tray, yeah, your bowls, your mixing things, your ingredients, and then the oven. Yeah. If you have got the field and the instruments, then you can express that vasana. No field, you cannot express the vasana. Now, when you don't express the vasana, doesn't mean the vasana is not there. It's still there. It's just waiting to come out. It's just waiting to come out. Yeah. So if somebody else is using the kitchen in the afternoon, you cannot use it. Doesn't mean vasana has gone. You will have to wait for that person to leave and then you will use it. Now, you may not do Saturday, but you might do Sunday. You may not do this week, you will do next week. But at some point in time, you will access that field and you will express that vasana. By ignoring vasana, it doesn't go away. It does not go. Therefore, Bhagavan says, jivas have got vasanas. Now there must be a field. That's the purpose of Jagat. The Jagat is the big kitchen. And we are all master chefs, junior master chefs, trying to do something. Now cook, we want to cook something. Yeah. So this is how this thing is. Now, the other aspect of it is one field in order you can do. Now, if you do and nothing comes out, no result. You do all the cooking, you do the stirring, you do the mixing, and then you put the batter into the tray, and the tray you put in the oven, and then when you close the oven, half an hour later, you open it, it disappeared. Cake is gone. Now, what is the point of that? That's also no good. Yeah? So having done the karma, phala must also come. Because only when the phala comes, then the jiva comes to experience the reward or outcome of the vasana. The vasana finds its fulfillment in the experience of result. So I had vasana for that cake, but the vasana will only be appeased when I eat the cake. Therefore, having baked it, a cake must come out. Result must come. Then when result comes, I come to experience, enjoy that result. This then closes the circuit. The circuit started with vasana, pushing pressure onto desire, forcing me to do action. Action then must lead to enjoyment of result. In the enjoyment of the result, two things can happen. Vasana can become stronger. I enjoyed the cake so much. Every Saturday I'm making a cake now. And with different cakes. So one cake chocolate, one cake vanilla. Then you thought, oh, we just had satsang this morning. Swamiji is wearing orange cake. So you make orange cake in the afternoon. And you can always send that to me. So cakes can always be sent to 4 Pi. Yeah. So I can enjoy the results of your actions. So this becomes a habit then. This becomes a habit. So vasana can become stronger after experiencing result. Or you experience the result and you do a little bit of vichar. Vichar means a little thinking. And you review the result. And when you review the result, you realize, you know what? It was not as great as I thought it would be. Eating this cake and going through this whole 2-hour process of making the cake, I actually didn't enjoy it that much. It was okay. The cake was nice, but I see better things to do with my time. Now what happens is after this review, you can develop vairagya. And with that vairagya, you say, now it's done. I have cooked the cake, baked the cake, eaten the cake, experienced the cake, and you know what? Enough. I don't want to do it again. The vasana, now you have to do the review. If you do the review, the vasana then reduces and can go. Now when the vasana reduces to such a small extent that it's almost non-existent, then guess what happens? It will not prompt further desire, action, and result. So the loop now, you don't again enter the second cycle. That vasana now is done. Yeah. So this Jagat provides these two things. Jagat provides the opportunity for us to manifest and express this karma vasana. Because we are a container with the lid stuck on it. Yeah. But in that container, there are things that are just waiting to get out. Like a spring box. And we just put a lid on top of that. That spring is waiting to come out. Every jiva is born this way. Every jiva. Therefore, there must be opportunity for that jiva to express. Therefore, Jagat is needed. Do the Jagat, karma kartum. Having done the karma, then he must be able to enjoy the phala. So he enjoys the phala. And when he has the phala, two things happen. Review, or you end up reenacting. Review or reenactment. Reenactment, you again do the same thing again. Continue on, continue on, continue on. This reenactment, you keep on doing the same thing. Recycling. Yeah. That is called samsara. That is called samsara. You keep on just going and going and going. Washing machine, around and around and around it goes. Yeah. But even in that, Bhagavan said, even if you keep on doing this washing, even if you keep recycling, after some point in time, even then you will finally wake up and say, enough is enough, I'm a bit worn out, So if you put the clothes continuous to the washing machine and spin cycle and all that, eventually the clothes falls apart. Yeah, the material itself disintegrates just because of the wear and tear that it goes through. Now, our vasanas are quite robust. So this wear and tear can sometimes take multiple births, multiple lives, multiple kalpas. Okay, so it is one option, but it's not the preferred option. If you want to speed things up, open that washing machine every now and then, take the clothes out and realize it's done. Done is done, finished. Because every time you put it in the dryer, sometimes it over dries. It goes for too long. Yeah? Once it's done, take it out. Finished. Out of the cycle. You must do a review. So at the end of achieving the phala, you must review. Did this really give me the happiness I expected? Yeah. In my first Chick camp that I went to, I saw a video of Gurudev, and in that he asked this question. He said, after every achievement, you should ask yourself, am I fully satisfied? And did it deliver the happiness I expected? What was the happiness you expected? You have to go back to the start and think, what type of happiness did you expect at the start? So when I was sitting on the couch thinking of making that cake, what was the type of happiness, euphoria that I was anticipating? And now that you have gone through the 2-hour process of making the cake and enjoying the cake, did it match? Did your actual final experience match the initial anticipation? Many times in life, with most of our achievements, you will find they don't match. The imagination of happiness and the experience of happiness tend to be lopsided. The imagination is generally a lot higher than the experience. The experience generally comes in lower. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes unexpectedly the experience is much more enjoyable. These things also happen. But majority of the time with a planned event, generally a planned event, it never comes out with what you had anticipated. The ones that are really enjoyable are the ones you never plan. They just happen by people just drop in without any planning. Just a nice afternoon, just turned into a very nice afternoon. Because there was no desire, it was very spontaneous. But the ones you plan, you organize, you instrument, everything you do perfectly, you find at the end of that, you generally say, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do it. Let's not do this again. Yeah? You organize 40th birthday party for your spouse, surprise. And after that whole thing is so much headache and tired and this and that. Let's not do this again, okay? They also say, don't worry, I'm not turning 40 again, so you don't need to do this again. It's only happening once. That job is done now. Yeah, so then we make a pact and we say, on birthdays, no more surprises. Done, finished. When it's your birthday, just wake up, just say hello, happy birthday, and that's enough, finish. We come up with these things. So this is because planned happiness generally does not deliver at the end, always short. Always some short. And if you reflect upon this in life, then you get Vairagya. As you get that Vairagya, the vasanas can start dropping. They start weakening, okay? So now this is just about that. There's a second part to it. Ishe samarpya karmani chitta shuddhim labet naraha. Now, if the person remains without reviewing their life, they just do the recycle mode. Yeah, they just keep on doing the recycle mode, then they end up in samsara. It just keeps on going forever. Yeah, the washing machine. Now, is there another way? Just say, is there another way in between? You said one, keep on going. The second one, stop and think. But I find stopping and thinking also a little bit hard. I like to keep going. But is there a way to keep going? Yeah, and eventually come out? He said, yes, that option is also there. So this is called the path of Karma Yoga. So in Karma Yoga, you can keep the cycle going, which means the vasanas are coming out. But the difference is the phala, when it comes, does not feed the vasana again. The phala is offered towards a higher altar. Ishe samarpya. You offer it towards a higher altar of dedication. So I have a desire. I have a desire to achieve. I have a desire to get recognition. I have a desire for fame. I have a desire for wealth. I have all these desires. And they are impelling me to act. I cannot stop. Good, act. Cannot tell you to stop. So act. Now when you act, you will get a karma. And when that karma will then lead to phala. When that phala comes, now you say, I offer this to God. Yeah? All this that I have earned, all these accolades, achievements, wealth, prestige, name and fame, I now surrender it and offer it towards the high. Yeah? This is Ishwaraya, for the sake of God. Yeah? All this is offered towards God. Harim samarpayami. Towards that Lord, I offer. Rayanaya samarpayami. Yeah, I offer towards the Lord. As you now do this, what happens is, from vasana, desire, karma, phala, but now it goes different direction. It goes off towards Bhagavan. Offered towards the higher altar, the loop doesn't close. It just goes out to the side. As it goes out to the side, you know what it is? It is just like water leaking out the tap and just ends out. Finally, the pressure then all goes. You know when plumber comes, they turn the mains off. When they turn the mains off, there's still water inside your pipes, and they tell you, open the pipes. And they open the pipes, water still comes out. But after some time, water just finishes. Nothing is left. This is what happens in Karma Yoga. Yeah? There's still pressure in the pipes. You cannot stop, so you have to open it. But now when you open it, that water should not go back and feed the tank. It should just dribble out. This is what happens when you do Karma Yoga. As you dedicate your actions towards a higher goal. So you think of a higher goal first. You already have the vasana. The vasana is already there. Yeah. So now with the vasana that I have, I now think of a higher goal. With that higher goal in mind, I act. Karma karta. Now result is going to come, because whenever you do action, result has to come. You cannot stop. But now when the result comes, I must again think of that higher goal. Why did I do that? And lovingly, I offer for you, for you, for you. This was for you. Not for me, for you. For that higher goal, for that higher cause, for the sake of the Lord. I offer everything back. Then what happens? Those vasanas are now getting exhausted and not refueled. They're not getting refueled because there's a circuit breaker going out to the side. So the energy that we have because of the vasana is now slowly, that rajogun, tamogun is being dissipated. And just as you open that tap, initially the start lot comes out, but after some time trickles and then finish. Yeah. Once that vasana level is very low, the path of inquiry and the path of meditation very easy, because there's no rajogun to disturb. So you can sit very quietly for hours. You can contemplate, meditate, reflect. Satsang come very easy because the vasana pressure is so low. Yeah, so low. Yeah. And that eventually leads to the entire, one then manages to Brahma Rupam Jagat Pashyan. Through that meditation, they see the entire Jagat as Brahman. Yeah. Mukto Vidvan Bharennavaha. They become freed. Yeah. When the vasana is very little and it's sattvic, then you transcend the entire body, mind, intellect complex, and you realize this is not actually me. This is the play of Jagat. What is the play of Jagat? Your vasana is the play of Jagat. Your intellect is the play of Jagat. Your mind is the play of Jagat. And your body is also the play of Jagat. Why? Because come back to the start. Anything labeled idam is actually Jagat. It is not me. Who am I? I am Purna Paramatma Anandarupa Atma. I am that ever complete supreme self filled with bliss. Yeah. Mere sakshi to all this, witness of all of this. I am not the doer. I am not the enjoyer. I am free. Muktaha. I was actually free at the start. But just because of vasana pressure, I could not realize that. Now vasana pressure is so low. Now I have realized I am free. I am free all the time. Therefore, person gains enlightenment. Okay? So in this way, this is the purpose of the world. Yeah. So what is the world? Body, mind, intellect, vasana, plus the entire world outside. Its purpose, because vasana pressure, I must have field, need my kitchen, must have instruments, do my cooking. When I finish that karma, you have got three options. One, recycle, do the same thing again, don't think. Second option, you do a review and you think. You may be able to give up that karma. And third option, if you cannot do the review or cannot give up, then you start doing that karma for higher cause. Karma continues on, but finally it just dissipates. Vasana does not get refueled. When vasana is not refueled, slowly vasana levels drop. When vasana levels drop, no pressure, no agitation and restlessness, path of inquiry, meditation, very easy. And through that, you come to realize, I never was this vasana. I never was this body. I never was this mind or intellect. It was just one play going on. Whose play? Ishvara's play only. He only through Maya Shakti was making this body, mind, intellect do things. And you should not be disturbed because it's not you. Oh, does that mean he's playing games with me? No, that's not you. God cannot play games with you because you as Atma, you can't play. That's the problem. You're always on the sideline. Atma is always on the sideline, witnessing, spectator. Therefore, you say God is the coach. God is the coach. Jiva is the player. Atma is spectator. So you can't sit there and say, God has been playing games with me. No, you've been a spectator the whole time. You just imagine that you were the player and that he was the coach and he was telling you, sit down, move here, run fast, get hit, get tackled, work harder. And you blame God for all that. He said you were actually a spectator just daydreaming. That's what's going on. Yeah. So at no point in time is God forcing me, Atma, to do anything. I'm not part of the game. It's okay. Okay. So now if you look at those three verses, it takes you from the standpoint of Jagat all the way to the standpoint of moksha, mukti. And that's why the next topic then becomes mukti. Well, there are different types of mukti. There are different types of mukti. Yes, there are different types of mukti also. So that will be the next topic. What is moksha? This mysterious thing called moksha. Yeah. That we will take up next week. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.